My name is Isaac and I run this YouTube channel called Tune Productions. This is my 2013 Nissan 370Z, has about 36,000 miles on it. I've owned it for about 6 months, and this is gonna be my take on why the 370Z is a great car. Let's get into it. Now first, I'm gonna give a little bit of a backstory. I got this car, like I said, 6 months ago. I bought it with about 32,000 miles on it. And I've been dailying this car throughout the summer. I live in Minnesota, and this car has been absolutely amazing. Obviously, it is rear-wheel drive. Now, getting a little closer look at the 370Z, the previous owner did this little black stripe on the bottom and also did the red striping. I think it looks okay. I'm going to keep it on for now. And also, the metallic gray color in this car looks super good. Here's a look at the interior. The only downside is the interior in this car. It's very outdated for what it is. No Apple CarPlay, no anything like that. So that's one downside to a 370Z is the infotainment system. Getting into the 370 is pretty nice. You are greeted with a big tachometer right in the middle, and you got your speedometer on the right. And then you get kind of your range and your gas mileage and trip information on your left. It's kind of useful. I kind of like the gas being over there. It was kind of weird at first, but I got used to it, and I do actually like it over on that side. This car gets 19 miles a gallon in the city and up to 26 on the highway. Your stop start button is right here, so we're going to power this thing up. We're just going to go on position right now. Like I said, 36,000 miles on it. You're greeted also with these 3 gauges on the side. You got your oil temp, battery voltage, and then we got our time as well. This 370 was upgraded to a Kenwood radio a while ago. Like I said, that's one downside of a 370Z is the infotainment system. The specific models, you can get the option where you have a Apple CarPlay stereo and display here, but I don't have that option. This is just a base model 370, but I do kind of like this, like a leather kind of feel, and you get a little bit of storage here. I don't really have much in there now, but it is kind of a nice thing to have like a little bit of storage, because in this car you don't really have too much. Moving on to our right side here, we got our e-brake. Obviously, we got our little center console, we got a cup holder, and then this is my short throw shifter I put in with a Nismo shift knob. Really good upgrade. I just wanted to do a short throw shifter because the stock throws they didn't feel good in my opinion, and they just were kind of loose. I didn't like it, so I just decided to put a short throw shifter in. Really easy to install. Obviously, we have our AC controls here, the fans, we got our temp, and then we got where we want the air to go. Hazards are down here, and then if you have the sport model, this will be a sport mode button. Basically, it's kind of like just auto rev matching and a few different features with the 370. Moving on to the rear of the car, really stylish. I love the way the 370 looks. With this paint color, it looks absolutely gorgeous. This car is equipped with the Magnaflow exhaust, so I have the dual tip mufflers. One thing to note as well with the 370Zs is that there's a lot of aftermarket support. There's a lot of different websites and a lot of different companies that have made aftermarket parts for this car. One thing to note on the 370Z is how wide the rear tires are. I mean, look at how wide this car pokes out. It looks really good, almost like wide body stock. Really just a blast to drive. This thing is amazing. It's really fun to drive around corners and just doing straight runs. Moving on to the trunk, don't mind the stuff there, that is mine. And it's actually not that bad. I do get groceries in this car, and it does fit all my groceries pretty well. It has a decent amount of room, decent amount of space for storage and whatnot. Under the hood, we have a 3.7 liter V6 making 330 horsepower and about 270 foot-pounds of torque. Now, the previous owner put in these K&N intakes. I did not do this, but that is the only mod under the hood are these intakes. In 2013, they made some revisions to the front. They added these daytime running lights on the side, and they look really good. I can show you guys a video of what they look like now. It's hard to tell on camera, but these are really bright, and they look kind of weird on camera. These look really LED in person, and they are really bright, and I really love the way they look on the front of this car. A cool little feature Nissan implemented in the 370Z is these little side Z markers. And when you unlock the car, it blinks once, and when you lock the car, it blinks twice. One of my favorite things about the 370Z is the taillights. I think they look really good. They're really bright, and I like the way it flares off the end there. It just makes the car look really good. Let's start this 370 up and take it for a test drive. All right, so we're driving in the 370Z now. First thing to note is the clutch is really light in this car. It's really easy to work with. It's nothing too crazy, and it feels really good. And second thing is the short throw shifter. Obviously, it is aftermarket, but the gears feel really good. It clicks into gear super nice with the short throw shifter, and I have it adjustable. So basically, I have it all the way so where the throws to each gear are pretty short, and it feels really good. I like the way it clicks in, and it's a little harder to shift, which I kind of like. It feels a little more direct with the 6-speed. Now, with this car having a rev range all the way up to 75, almost 8,000 RPM, it has power almost everywhere. And with it being an NA car, it's not turboed, so you don't have any of that turbo lag, and it's just that direct torque right away. And it feels really good throughout the whole rev range, and it really drives really well. With this Magnaflow exhaust as well, it doesn't drone at all. Like, the Magnaflow exhaust is a very quiet exhaust, and it doesn't do anything to the note really at all. But I mean, it makes it sound a little bit better when you get on throttle, but when you're in the car, it doesn't drone at all. I'm at 6th gear, 2,000 RPMs, about at the drone zone, and I don't hear anything. I mean, 4th gear, we're already doing a pretty good speed. I'm not going to tell you guys my speed, but you guys kind of get the gist of things. With 330 horsepower and 270 foot-pounds of torque, this car gets up pretty quick. If you go to like 2nd gear and go to 4,000 to 5,000 RPM, it kicks in pretty nice, and it feels really good. This car is amazing to drive, and the road noise isn't bad at all. With it being, rear-wheel drive, I don't hear very much road noise. It rides really good. The steering wheel feels good. You have your cruise control buttons here, and then you have kind of your radio controls on your left. Also, a cool feature Nissan implemented is they definitely listen to their customers, because on my left-hand side here, we have the traction control button, and it is easily visible. And that was one thing that Nissan took into consideration when building the 370Z, is they listened to their 350 owners, and they were like, well, it'd be nice to kind of get a traction control button that would be more accessible, because with being rear-wheel drive and having a good amount of power, these owners with the 350Zs love to get their car loose. They like drifting it, going around corners and stuff, and Nissan listened to them and put that bigger traction control button on the left-hand side. Heel toe in a second, and it's really easy to do in this car, really. I mean, the pedals aren't too far from each other, and it feels really good. It's easy to do any heel toe rev matching. Now, one downside to this car with the short throw shifter, and also I've heard rumors of the OEM one does the same thing. It has like a shift knob rattle. I've heard even with the stock 370Zs that they get a little shift knob rattle. It is kind of annoying. It kind of sucks. That's one downside that I don't like in the interior, besides the infotainment system as well. This car tops out at 155 miles an hour. It has a governor on it, but it gets up and goes pretty quick. You don't really need to be going 155 miles an hour. 0 to 60 in this car is 5.4 seconds, so it's pretty quick. It's not super fast by any means, but it is, it feels good, and I liked how direct the power is, especially with it being NA. I'm in 2nd gear right now. I'm going to go to like 4,000 or 5,000 RPM. I'm going to floor it, and it kicks in like pretty well. It's such a fun car. This thing, it's a perfect daily for me, because I have my R32 Skyline that I have in the garage that I drive on the weekends. I'm planning on keeping this car pretty stock for now, just because it's my daily, and I don't need to make it, crazy. I don't need it to make crazy horsepower. It's a blast to drive and stock power. We're coming up to a corner here. I'm gonna give it a little gas around this corner, and it's just planted. It's just planted to the ground. What's crazy about this car is around corners it handles so well, and it doesn't want to slip out. It wants to stay planted. And then when you want to get out and kick it loose, you can just turn traction control off with the button over here, and it'll easily kick out. But it's just nice having that feature where, you know, if I want to go around corners and not be scared, I can. I mean, I'm going around corners now, and it just feels so good. Like it doesn't feel like I'm scared to drive it. It feels really good around these corners. I'm gonna get on it so you guys can hear it. I'm gonna take a left-hand turn here. So we're gonna go at second gear again. I'm gonna go about up to 4,000, 5,000 RPM. I'm just gonna give it. There are a couple turns up here, and I'm just gonna show you guys what it sounds like. I hate that shift knob rattle. That kind of sucks. Corner coming up. I would recommend this to anybody who is looking for a fun, reliable daily that looks really good. It's a good looking sports car. Like I said, it's very reliable at stock power. It's fun, and it's a great daily throughout the summer. I've dailied this for 6 months, and I've had no problems with it. It gets good fuel mileage. It's just a really good daily. And the gears in this car feel really good. Like this fifth right here, I'm just gonna rev match to 4, and it's so smooth. The clutch feels good. It's easy to work with, and it's easy to heel toe in this car because the pedals are really close together. One final thing I did want to add to the review is I wanted to give it a little rating. I want to give it a rating from 1 to 10, and I'm going to rate this thing a 9 out of 10. It's not perfect by any means. There are a few things that I don't like with this car, like the shift knob rattle and the infotainment system. Like I said, it's just very outdated for what it is. And the next review I'm going to do is probably going to be my R32 Skyline. I have a GTST Type M, a really, really fun car, a legendary car in Japan. So I will be doing that review next. Thank you guys for watching. This was my take on why the 370Z is a great car. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment down below if you guys have any more ideas you want me to do in the future. And I will see you guys in the next one.